They told the world he died failing the test, but death was a lie. He woke up inside a horrifying secret facility, where failed students become slaves for a powerful corporation, fighting for survival while hunted by those sworn to protect them. Can the truth escape before they're silenced forever? The story begins at the Texas State Cemetery during the memorial service for Blake Redding, the son of Governor Dean Redding. News reports highlight the controversy surrounding Blake's death. He supposedly failed his thinning exam, but reports indicate he wasn't initially among the failing students, casting a shadow over his father's presidential campaign. Amidst the mourners is Lena Michaels, a former student from Blake's school, Vista Point High. She became a public figure after being wrongfully accused of failing her own exam and framed for domestic terrorism. Reporters hound her, asking about legal action against the Board of Education and whether she blames Governor Redding. Lena offers only no comment. An official, presumably working with Lena, informs her that Agent Joanne Morris has been appointed as a special investigator for the Vista Point incident. He reassures Lena that Mason King, a guard from the first movie, has signed an affidavit clearing her and has been reassigned as she requested. Governor Redding, meanwhile, deflects questions about the scandal, telling his aide Jack Prescott that he'll handle it himself and focus on getting elected. Agent Morris approaches Lena, wanting to discuss Blake. Lena claims she barely knew him, denying any close relationship. Morris probes further, mentioning security footage showing Lena near an internal server computer an hour before a significant event. Lena maintains she was just trying to prove her test scores were switched and saw nothing else sensitive. Morris gives Lena her card, offering help and trust, before leaving as Lena's siblings, Corin and Joey, approach. Lena tells her siblings to focus and avoid interviews. Jack Prescott from Governor Redding's team intercepts them, stating the governor needs to see Lena about Blake. Meanwhile, we meet Kellen Woods, a young, ambitious reporter starting his first day at BNC News. His supervisor, Wendy, shows him to his tiny office and gives him his first assignment, a science piece on the chemicals used in the thinning process. Kellen, eager to dig into the Vista Point story, is told to start at the bottom. Wendy instructs him to do a prelim, talk to people, find an angle, set up interviews. Lena meets Governor Redding. He dismisses his previous accusations against her as based on misleading information and offers an apology. He then proposes an advisory role for her on a new thinning oversight committee, promising a generous paycheck. Lena refuses. As she leaves, Redding's associate, Georgina Preston, subtly threatens Lena by mentioning her siblings and their future tests, hinting at the need for support. Jack Prescott is instructed to drive Lena home. However, the car drives past Lena's house. She's forcibly taken, separated from her worried siblings who are shown safe via a video feed. Lena finds herself with Maggie Cole, her sibling's teacher. Maggie reveals she's not with the governor, but part of the Fight, an underground organization working within the government to end the thinning and transport at-risk students to safety via safe houses and a secure island. Mr. Leonard, another operative, is mentioned as having saved over 100 students. Maggie explains they need Lena to accept the governor's offer to get close to Georgina Preston. They believe Georgina is manipulating Redding and pushing an agenda that will solidify the thinning if Redding becomes president. Lena initially refuses, wanting her siblings taken out immediately, but Maggie warns that runaways face separation and a guaranteed path to the thinning through state homes. Lena is told that by helping them gather information on Georgina, they can potentially repeal the thinning entirely. They don't know Georgina's exact endgame, but fear it could be worse than just maintaining the current system. Back with Kellen, his investigation into the thinning chemicals leads him to question mortuary workers involved with Blake's body. He discovers that none of the employees on duty during the relevant 72-hour period actually saw or handled Blake's body. Driven by suspicion, Kellen, armed with a shovel, heads to the cemetery late at night. The scene implies he intends to dig up the grave, questioning if Blake is truly dead. The perspective shifts dramatically. Blake Redding is alive. He awakens in a sterile facility and watches an orientation video. He's told he's not dead, but in the incubator, a facility sponsored by Asuru Global. The video explains that failing students deemed to have value and special skills are chosen via an algorithm to be rehabilitated from parasitic leeches into productive members of the working class. Reintroduction to society is possible for the most productive members. The final message: be worthy. Blake and other chosen students, including Heather Forrester and Ned Walker, are assigned to different work sections like assembly, advanced systems, and packaging. Blake is assigned to packaging. He's told his day will consist of 14 hours of labor, 1 hour for dining, personal time, and rest. As he walks to the factory floor for observation, he spots Ellie Harper, his former girlfriend, also alive and working there. During their limited free time, Blake finds Ellie. They embrace, overjoyed and shocked to be alive after believing the lethal injection during the thinning was fatal. Ellie seems to have bought into the incubator's propaganda, believing they have a second chance to help and do right and can become worthy. Blake is skeptical, questioning why they would kill some students but spare others, reminding her of past lies. Their reunion is cut short as they witness the harsh reality. A student refuses to work. Guards appear, and the other workers chant for him to jump from a high platform. The student doesn't jump, but is subdued. Blake sees guards retrieve a net. Later, he learns about snip-snip. Workers who refuse labor are taken to the infirmary and return with alterations, implied to be lobotomies or similar procedures, rendering them docile. Blake encounters Cage, a tough inmate who claims Ellie now belongs to him and threatens Blake if he looks at her again. Another inmate explains the social structure. The worthy, identified by patches, are inmates selected to supervise others, receiving preferential treatment and being first in line for the supposed reintroduction. Wade Freeman, another inmate, defiantly insists he's not a slave. Blake tries to talk to Ellie again, but Cage's thugs intervene. A fight breaks out, and Blake is quickly overpowered. Security guards arrive, separate them, and drag Blake away as he calls out Ellie's name. Time passes. It's nearly a year later, and the presidential election is heating up. Governor Redding, backed by Asuru Global, champions the thinning program, while his opponent, Senator Elaine Davis, calls for its complete repeal, a popular stance among young voters. Lena Michaels is now publicly supporting Governor Redding, participating in his campaign and speaking out against repealing the thinning, framing it as a dishonor to those who sacrificed their lives. In interviews, she defends Redding, crediting him for owning up to past mistakes, like falsely accusing her. Privately, Lena meets with Maggie Cole. It's revealed Lena has been working for the fight for 8 months, feeding them information gathered from inside Redding's campaign, including photos of restricted areas and building files. Lena is frustrated, feeling she's risking everything for little progress and needs assurance her siblings are safe. Maggie promises to handle it personally. The fight now believes crucial files are on Georgina Preston's private computer, and they need Lena to access it, providing her with a special device to copy the data. They also reveal they know about her friend who's been listening in, Kellen. Kellen, wearing inconspicuous glasses, is indeed present. Lena removes his disguise. During a debate prep session for Governor Redding, Lena surprises everyone by volunteering to play the role of Senator Davis. She delivers a scathing critique of the thinning, calling it barbaric, blaming the system, highlighting socioeconomic disparities, and accusing Redding of sacrificing Blake for his career. Her performance impresses Redding's team. Back in the incubator, Asuru Global's stock is soaring. Conditions remain harsh. Cage and his crew continue to bully other inmates. Blake watches as Cage brutally beats another worker in a designated fighting area. An inmate explains the rule: if you win, you lead. Blake realizes Cage maintains control through fear and violence. Later, Blake needs medical attention for an injury he claims happened in the shower. He speaks with the infirmary doctor, subtly asking for help escaping and questioning the reality of reintroduction. The doctor remains non-committal, but seems sympathetic. Blake is escorted back by Mason King, the guard reassigned from Vista Point. Blake asks Heather Forrester to get a message to Ellie, telling her to come to the cage match the next day. Heather agrees, hinting at a personal interest in Blake. Lena prepares for her mission to access Georgina's computer. Maggie Cole arrives to take Corin and Joey away, supposedly to the safe house across the border. Lena says a tearful goodbye, trusting Maggie. Maggie reassures Lena they'll be safe and explains her own motivation. Her dyslexic sister Kelly was taken by the thinning years ago because Maggie, distracted in her senior year, failed to help her enough. She vows no one else should suffer that loss. In the incubator, the cage match between Blake and Cage begins. Ellie is present. Blake seems to be faking weakness or injury. Suddenly, Ellie defies a work order from Mason King. When she refuses to move, King orders guards to take her down. As guards subdue the struggling Ellie, Blake uses the distraction to decisively defeat Cage. The crowd erupts, chanting Blake's name. He is now the new leader of the Worthy. Simultaneously, during the debate prep distraction, Lena successfully infiltrates Georgina Preston's office. Using the device provided by the fight, she plugs it into Georgina's computer and copies the files onto it just as Georgina is called away urgently. Blake gathers the inmates. He reveals the truth he's pieced together. They weren't spared for their potential. They were selected for cheap labor for Asuru Global. There is no reintroduction. He tells them the alarm that sounded earlier was for Ellie, who has been taken, likely to the infirmary, for alterations. He plans to rescue her and escape, asking for their help. The inmates agree to follow him. Election night arrives. A damaging audio recording surfaces of Senator Davis disparaging voters, calling them dumb and questioning their right to vote. The leak severely damages her campaign, seemingly handing the election to Redding. Lena, having secured the drive, tries to contact Agent Morris. Morris meets Lena, acting concerned. Lena reveals Blake Redding is alive and explains about the Asuru labor camps. Morris asks who else knows and if Lena has evidence. Lena hands over the drive. Morris collects Lena's phone and keys, claiming they might be bugged, and asks about her siblings' location and escape route via Maggie Cole and the tunnel system. Lena notices a road sign, El Toro, indicating Maggie took a wrong turn. Suddenly, DPC vehicles converge on Maggie's car. Lena realizes Morris has betrayed her and set a trap. Morris confirms she works with Asuru, kind of. In the incubator, Blake initiates the escape plan. A fight is staged in the mess hall involving Wade Freeman, drawing guards away. Blake and others use the chaos to head towards the infirmary. They cause a power outage or production halt. Georgina Preston confronts the captured Lena, demanding the drive. Lena refuses. Georgina reveals Agent Morris works for her and implies Blake's fate is sealed, possibly indicating falsified information on the drive. Kellen at the BNC newsroom sees a news report about a car bombing victim and finds Lena's distinctive glasses near the scene, suggesting Maggie Cole was killed. Governor Redding officially wins the presidency. Lena manages to escape Georgina's custody and gets the damaged drive to Kellen. He attempts data recovery using rudimentary methods. A fan. Lena confirms Blake is alive. Kellen, realizing the gravity, takes the drive to Wendy, telling Lena to lay low. Blake and Ellie navigate the hidden sections of the facility, presumably using the vents and elevators Kellen discovered. Georgina, furious about the drive, tells Agent Morris the drive is all that matters, and Lena is of no further use, ordering her elimination. Lena goes to the BNC building to find Wendy. Agent Morris intercepts her, attempting to kill her by forcing her towards a high ledge, suggesting a staged suicide. Just as Morris is about to push her, Blake and Ellie arrive, having escaped the Asuru facility. A BNC News helicopter, likely dispatched by Wendy or Kellen, arrives overhead. Wendy goes live on BNC News, interrupting the election night coverage. Just as President-elect Redding is about to give his acceptance speech, the broadcast cuts to live footage from the helicopter, showing Blake Redding alive in the Texas desert alongside Lena and Ellie. The news anchor repeats, "Blake Redding is alive." Governor Redding is stunned and confused. Georgina Preston watches, realizing her plan is unraveling. In the aftermath, Redding's presidency is instantly compromised. Georgina Preston, however, remains defiant. She tells an aide they don't need to spin the situation because they are the law now. Using Asuru's advanced systems, she orders a list compiled of everyone who ever opposed the thinning, signaling a terrifying new phase of control and persecution. Blake, Lena, and Ellie are immediately surrounded by DPC guards and placed under arrest. As they're being led away, Jack Prescott, Redding's former aide, intervenes, revealing himself to be FBI. He helps them escape the guards, declaring, "We're going to war." The fight against the thinning and Asuru Global is far from over. It has just entered a new, more dangerous stage.